All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, in less than 365 days, the New York football Giants look like a different team in large part to their new general manager, Joe Schoen, and the new head coach, Brian Daboll. Through 5 games so far this season, the Giants are 4-1 as they are on pace to not lose 10 or more games in a season for the first time since 2016. The Giants have lost at least 10 games in every season since 2014, with the exception of 2016. And at the end of the day, when you take over an organization that has been as down on its luck for as long as Giants have, you look at what both Shane and Dayball have had. At the end of the day, changing culture with inside an organization is not easy, but already we're seeing the effects of that for the Giants. This year so far, we're seeing the Giants do something that they didn't do in recent years, which is the ability to overcome double digit deficits. We saw it happen in week number 1 against the Tennessee Titans, and we saw it again yesterday against the Green Bay Packers in London. Now, coming overcoming those double digit deficits is one thing, but then you're talking about doing it on the road. They did it at 10 in week number 1, and technically it was a road game because both teams were in London yesterday. But on top of that, these were two division winners last year, and not only division winners, both the Titans and the Packers had the best record in their respective conferences last year. So these are no pushover teams that the Giants are getting this done against. But nonetheless, they're finding a way to win. And that is showing a lot of character. And I think that is a reflection on the head coach and, of course, the people that the general manager has brought in, as well as the general manager himself. Getting back to this game yesterday against the Packers, I mean, very rarely do you see a team that has Aaron Rodgers as its starting quarterback lose a game when they were up double digits. It was 17-3. We saw the Giants get that score before the half. Green Bay responded by getting a field goal just before the end of the half. But credit to this team, credit to this defense under defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, because they shut out A-Rod in the entire second half. And we saw this young defense go out there and make plays when they needed to. We're seeing more of a pass rush that is coming from that group up front with the likes of Dexter Lawrence, the veteran Leonard Williams, and of course the rookie Kayvon Thibodeau. He's healthy now, and he's starting to get into the mix for this. So I think this unit is going to go a very long way. Dayball is showing that he is a solid coach. He's also showing his ability to make adjustments, because you don't overcome deficits in the NFL. More importantly, you don't overcome double digit deficits if you, as a head coach, do not have the ability to go out there and make adjustments on the fly. On top of being able to make the adjustments, the offensive line, which has been a weakness for the Giants in recent years, is now becoming a strength. You look at the way that they're opening holes, and you look at the way that Saquon Barkley is running. Yes, Saquon Barkley is in the last year of his deal, and he's trying to go out there and get a contract. But on top of that, for the first time since he put on a Giant uniform, he's starting to get holes. And on top of that, now we're beginning to see the skills that made him a high draft pick by this team back in 2018. And you look at what he's doing right now, and he is having the best season so far since he has come to the NFL. Wink Martindale with this opportunistic defense, they know how to go out there and put pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and it's showing right now because on the teams that are facing the Giants, their quarterbacks don't have the ability to consistently get comfortable back in that pocket. And that is very important to throw an offense off of its rhythm. Daniel Jones, he's still not going to go out there and be an MVP candidate. But, to the credit of Brian Daboll, he has Daniel Jones look a lot better. Daniel Jones, for the first time in his NFL career, looks comfortable back in the pocket. And then Brian Daboll is not asking him to do that much. The Giants' offensive line is protecting better. On top of that, the Giants are running the football better. And when Daniel Jones throws the ball more often than not, Brian Daboll has put him in the best possible situation to succeed. A lot of things off of play action, and he's finding open receivers, and he's become more accurate right now. And that's a very big thing to any quarterback at any level. Now, Shane and Dayball don't even have all of their guys yet. And I say the guy, and I'm talking about guys, I'm talking about the players that fit their system from 1 to 53. They're getting there. This team is still a work in progress because remember, former general manager Dave Gettleman left Joe Shane a mess, and the Giants were in salary cap purgatory. So it's going to take a little time for them to get from under that. But nonetheless, this team is looking a lot different than they have in recent years. We're seeing signs of life. And I think the biggest thing that we're seeing from the Giants as opposed to last year, in the past couple of years, rather, regardless of Pat Shermer or Joe Judge, head coach, or even going back to Ben McAdoo, is the fact that early on in the season, we've seen the Giants in these close games in recent years, but they've been unable to get over the hump. That is not the case right now. They are learning how to finish, and they're getting confidence off of that. In recent years, the Giants would be in those close games early on in the season. They'd fade, they'd lose, and then it would be a steep decline down. That is no longer the case for this team as they are finally learning how to win. But the biggest thing I think for me with Shane and Dayball, they're not only have they given this team belief, but they've also given this fan base that follow the Giants for the first time in a long time some hope. So the question is, how long can the Giants keep this up? At this point, if you're New York, you're playing with house money. You got nothing to lose. You feel good about yourselves. But on top of that, you look at the Giants' upcoming schedule, and they have some winnable games in front of them if they're able to answer the bell. They host Baltimore on Sunday. The Ravens aren't world beaters. Yes, they have the potential to be a playoff team, but the Giants can go out there and hold their own. Not saying that they're going to win, but they can hold their own. You look at week number 7 at Jacksonville, a winnable game for the Giants. Week number 7 at Seattle, another winnable game. The Giants have their bye week in week number 9. Then they come back and host Houston in week 10, and they host Detroit in week 11 before they travel to Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. But nonetheless, those next 5 games, they're winnable situations. So, I mean, I think that there's a situation where we could see the Giants come out of that 5-game stretch, winning 3 out of those 5 games. And if that was the case, you're talking about a team that would now be 7-3 coming down the stretch, running heading into a potential postseason spot. And if you're New York and Brian Daboll, you'd have to be smelling like a rose at that point. Make no mistake about it, the Giants early on have shown to the rest of the NFL that they are no longer pushovers. This team is for real. This team is legit. I'm not telling anybody that follows this team to take the first Monday off after the Super Bowl, the first couple of days off after the Super Bowl in February, in order to be at the parade, down the Canyon of Heroes in New York City. Nonetheless, this Giants team is showing signs of improvement. They still have plenty of work ahead of them. But if you're somebody who is following this team in recent years, as compared to this year, you definitely have to like what you're seeing. And already, and just like that, in a New York minute, Shane and Dayball are having a big time impact on Big Blue. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.